Uh, are we up and running yet? I don't know. Yeah, it looks like we are. Hello, everybody. Looks like AS got an. Yes, you're absolutely correct. I'm even going to drink a little scotch because, yeah, AZ and Maurice Wilson as well. If you are wondering what I'm talking about, in the last video, I'm probably not going to talk much about it here. In the last video, in the description box of the last video, and in the pinned comments from me in the last video, is a response to AZ Infidel and Maurice Wilson. The accusation that came up during that video was that I was denying Christ. And I took issue with that. So they quoted what I said, which is in the description box in the last video. Go back and look at it, or the pinned tweet in the comments section for me in the last video. And I explained that the issue had to do with the understanding of a resurrection wasn't new with Jesus. That you don't have to rely on that part of the story of Jesus to understand that a resurrection was actually promised in veiled terms, which I took pains to explain in Genesis and Isaiah, even Ezekiel, even Job. But these people that have selective hearing and are preoccupied with what they're going to say and not listen, decided that they would be valiant in their defense of their faith in Jesus and totally miss the point that I was making. Yes, it makes me wonder if I should even bother. There is another saying by Jesus that I see with these Bible-thumping, born-again, evangelical Christians. That is, when Jesus said, and other people for that matter, I don't get this trouble from atheists. I don't care if you disagree with me, but listen to what I say and stop sitting there trying to defend your faith when you don't even preoccupied with thinking about an answer before you understand the subject matter. Like Jesus said, don't throw your pearls before swine because they'll turn and rend you. And AZ Infidel and Maurice Wilson, amongst others, but those are the two on this video, this last one, that really personify that problem. And I just assumed, I thought we had a fairly good working relationship, not so much with Maurice. He or she, whatever it is, has always been a problem. AZ Infidel, I thought, had a little more acumen than, as it turns out. Am I insulting these people? No, I'm saying if you don't want to be here and evaluate what I have to say, but you're going to sit there and think up a defense about something I didn't say, then I think you're probably in the wrong place and you need to go to someplace else. And I could name a few that would be right up your alley, but I don't want to say that I'm supporting those sites or encouraging you to go there. I'm not going to explain again in detail what I was talking about in that last video. The concept of a resurrection was evident as early as Genesis. And it was all over the place in the Messianic movement of 130 BC, when the Essenes went, actually about 80 BC, when the Essenes went to, and the Messianic millennialists went to Qumran and the Dead Sea, and that whole Messianic movement started up. One of the driving factors for being willing to sacrifice yourself on behalf of the God of Israel was that you'll be resurrected. And they got it from Enoch and the book of Enoch and some other writings. It didn't originate with Jesus. The explanation didn't come with Jesus. It was already there. And that's what I was showing you. I'm not arguing with the purpose of Jesus or the resurrection even. I'm not even questioning the mechanism of how that resurrection would take place, which Maurice and AZ Infidel would say was only Jesus. Fine, that's fine. That was not the instruction I was giving out. I was explaining that before Jesus, long before, hundreds of years, even thousands of years before Jesus, there were hints of the resurrection in the literature, in the text. You guys missed that, AZ Infidel and Maurice Wilson, because you want to be valiant and you don't really understand things. Not really. And no, as I explained in my response to you both, I don't trust Paul. And I have enumerated in my Religion and Eisenman series why I don't trust Paul. As a matter of fact, one of the things he said, which proves that he was about force, not true conversion, was when he said, if anyone believe a gospel other than the one I have preached, let him be accursed. Really? Paul, who never met the man Jesus, who was causing problems in the Jerusalem assembly and in the Jewish synagogues all over the Roman Empire, going against James' instructions to him, do you know who he was attacking with that statement? If anyone teach a gospel other than the one I have preached, let him be accursed. And then all those antichrist references in the three epistles of John. Actually, only two of them. He was attacking James. That's who he was attacking. The brother of the Lord. Do I keep doing this? Snark is snark. So, I will just close this out and ask everybody to go see my response in the last video. Go to the last video and see my explanation in the description box. And I also pinned it in the comment section under the pinned tweet, pinned comments. And of course, it's in response also. Oh, thank you, Felicia. Thanks for being here. Go to, you can also go to where AZ Infidel tries to call me on the carpet, and I did answer him there too, but I did even more in the description box and in the pinned comment that I made. I think I explained it pretty well. Again, AZ Infidel and Maurice Wilson, the subject matter of the video was the resurrection was taught, albeit in veiled circumstances, as early as Genesis, not kept just until Jesus came along. And that, in that respect, it's a second witness to the resurrection, if you will. I'm not here to do disputations with people. I'm not here to debate. If you don't like what I show you, fine. But don't pretend to be valiant for a God you've never met, or on the say-so of people that you can't cross-examine. I showed you what was in the text of the very Bible that Jesus, the very Torah and prophets, in other words, the Torah Nevi'im and Ketuvim, primarily the Torah and the Nevi'im, that means the law, the Torah, the first 5 books of the Bible, the Pentateuch as you would call them. The Greek, of course. Greek suddenly becomes so important. And Nevi'im means the prophets. Jesus quoted those. So he wasn't bringing anything new. He restored, that was his job, to restore the original understandings, the truth. So again, my purpose in that video was to show you that there was evidence to the resurrection in the mention of such things as a new heaven and a new earth in Isaiah, and how you, as a composite of the earth, of the dust and the ground of the earth, would fall in that category. That was the idea. You know, the world gets really aggravated with Christians because they want to be valiant, but they want to argue about things that they have no understanding of, except some words by a self-proclaimed apostle in some epistle that he may or may not have written, and that may not have even shown up. I mean, we have some of the early supposed epistles of Paul, and they say it's Paul, but how were those things also altered later? We don't have the originals of those. We have the Isaiah scroll in the Dead Sea Scrolls, word for word. Almost like it is, not quite like it is in the King James, but it's available. And it sits under lock and key in Jerusalem, unfortunately. But we have copies of it. Where are your original copies of the Pauline epistles, ladies and gentlemen? Where are your original copies of the Gospels, ladies and gentlemen? You don't have them. Not even in the Greek. You have people like Justin Martyr talking about some of the same things as if he's seen something like the Gospel of Matthew or the Gospel of Luke, something like that. And the scholars call it the Q document, some source document. Some think it's Mark itself, which in itself wasn't even written anytime before 60 AD, and probably later than that. I've gone on for almost 15 minutes here now. I'm not going to present any more information on that. If you wonder what the disputation's about, because people don't want to listen, they're thinking about their response, about what they think they should say rather than what the actual topic of the conversation is. Go back and look at my comment in the description box of the last video, and the pinned comment that I placed there, as well as I've already explained. AZ Infidel, Maurice Wilson, do your own channel. Present your own information. You know what I won't do? I won't go on there and dispute with you at all. You can say anything you damn well please. But don't come here and try to reform, rewrite what I say. Open your eyes, let the scales fall off, and unstop your ears, and consider that maybe, just maybe, there's more going on than you have any idea.